So I think everybody should remember the way that you actually do well in this life is show up when nobody else does. And I think that is like an important lesson that you forget about. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Maslach. I'm an associate professor of innovation, strategy, and entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor forward to help you out as much as I possibly can. So you probably have seen a lot of what I've been doing online, right? Like you probably see these podcasts and YouTube and all sorts of crazy stuff, TikTok and all that kind of stuff, trying to build this reciprocity project. And I'm going to tell you, it is tough to do it all the time, every day, and keep sort of focused on it. But in my experience, there's two sort of perceptions that people have in terms of building something or building a capability or a skill. One of them is that you have some sort of natural talent and it just happens overnight, right? Like that there is some sort of natural beauty that people have, for example, and then everybody's attracted to them. And, there are exceptionally attractive people out there. There's attractive or people that are exceptionally athletic, for example, or exceptionally gifted, or, that there's another perception that people have is that, you just need to take some sort of medication, or you need to have some sort of trick in terms of maybe if you pair up with somebody that's famous already, and then you pair up with them once or twice, then everything is going to come together. Or you get this famous, maybe it's a famous coach or something like that, and all of a sudden everything comes together. But in my experience, those two perceptions or two beliefs, they never really hold out. The key thing in that you're ever going to sort of see is that the way that you actually do anything and the way that you actually build anything is just showing up when nobody else does. If you look at the people that become pretty good at what they're doing, and whether it is building a platform that I'm building, whether it is developing some sort of technical competence in some sort of area, whether it is becoming an athlete at the world stage, whatever it is, it's always that aspect of showing up when nobody does. And, I was reminded of that this weekend. So my son, my kiddos had a swim meet this weekend, and they've been swimming a lot. We swim a lot, that's the thing. And we go to the pool, and there's often many, many days that we're either the only ones there, or there's a couple of other people that are kind of regulars that show up. And given that we live in a pretty big city, so Tallahassee's not, I wouldn't say it's not small, but it's not big either, right? Like a couple 100,000 people that are here. And given that, that there's a lot of talent that's around, it's surprising how much we show up and people are never there. And, it's just us or a couple of other people. And what's interesting, what's been really fun, is to watch both of my kiddos develop and see where they're going. And my oldest son, he has not been exceptionally, he's loved swimming, like absolutely loved it his whole life, but not, I wouldn't say that he was like exceptionally gifted in how quickly he can go in any sort of way. But it was really fun watching it this weekend, because there was no way I was going to expect that he would win anything. And yet he got first, second, and third in his heats. And that's really fun to watch, to see him go from, he would have been, when he started out a couple of years ago, he did a couple of swim meets. His first ones were a couple of years ago, and he was dead last by a lot. His glasses fell off, his goggles fell off, and it was just a mess, just an absolute mess. And he was dead last by a half a length probably. And now he's, first, second, and third, and first being like quite a bit faster than everybody else. And I attribute that to just showing up every day. And you really do see that. And so it's fun to see. One of the things that's fun to see, and this is where athletics is sort of fun to demonstrate, is to see that progression over time. And this is something that I was never really taught any of this, that progression. My family was athletic, but we were taught sort of you have a natural gift, and that natural gift says something. And so I was never naturally gifted in my family. So it was always, considered not athletic by any means. Let's just say that. I was always, put down in a lot of ways for who I was, because I was not athletic. And so I had this sort of perception that I was, never good at that. But I've been, steadily doing things my whole life, which is kind of the irony. And that's where, I hope to instill that on my kids, is that it's not about the athleticism. It's not about pure intellectual ability or anything, but it's just showing up day in and day out. And when you sort of see that, and luckily our coach is really an old timer, so he's 80 years old. He sort of sees the idea of this sort of showing up on a regular basis, and he sees that. He just kind of knows, which is really fun to see some of this happen, right? That consistency of just showing up. And there's lots of days when you show up and you don't swim that well. There's lots of days where you don't feel like it. It's just showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. And it's that consistency and just being there that makes a huge difference. I want everybody to remember that it's the act of showing up. And that's partly why I'm doing this reciprocity project. A huge part of it is just to demonstrate to other people that it's really not about anything other than just showing up and raw willpower to get these things to get going. And, what a cool experiment, and what a cool way to demonstrate how to build a platform. So there's this puzzle that we often see within the strategy. It's a hot topic right now. It's like, how do you build these things when you have nobody that's going to show up? Well, I'm demonstrating that you do that by showing up, by getting, so these two-sided platforms, let me take a step back. Two-sided platforms are tricky because you both need buyers and sellers to go onto it. So if you remember, the Reciprocity Project platform itself is a two-sided platform where you have editors and writers, and they show up, and the editors pay for or provide services, and writers write things and provide documents and things like that. And as they provide things, then the editors are going to, or as they provide documents that you need to get edited, whatever those documents are, business documents, reports for school or whatever, as they provide them, then the editors are there to help out and give feedback. Plus, like all sorts of machine learning tools and building all sorts of really fun things that are there. Basically, I'm looking for all of the funnest things I could build into it. We're looking to build into it. And it's fun. It's actually becoming something. To see this, it actually works. I use this all the time now as a tool, and it's improved my writing substantially. So, and improve the product of what I'm doing or when I'm working. So what's cool is that I'm demonstrating by doing this, showing up every day, just being there and being part of your life is how you actually do this. Is, as I have conversations and as I show you what it's about and, just being there helping you in all sorts of aspects of your life to sort of see that there is, this is how you do it. So, what the cool thing is instead of, writing some damn book or whatever and talking about this kind of stuff, I'm going to end it at the end of this, maybe it's in another 10 more years, or maybe it's a 15 more years. I'm going to have this huge platform with all of these bells and whistles that work and that's fun and exciting. And it's going to be extremely helpful for a lot of people. And then show you as I'm doing this, how do you actually do this? And, I'll be the only one that's done it. And what a cool way to teach entrepreneurship and innovation, to bring you along on this journey as I'm doing it. And it requires, here's the thing though, it requires a tremendous amount of dedication of showing up every day and telling you about it and, going through all of these things. And it's not just doing one little thing, but you get to see incrementally, man, he really does show up every day. He really does do this. And then it's not necessarily to prove to get tenure and all of that kind of stuff, fame and fortune and all of that kind of stuff. But it's to show future generations so they'll be able to watch this and say, hey, wait a minute, this guy who built this thing showed up every day, no matter what, and was there and tried and sort of pushed forward and that they sort of see, wait a minute, this doesn't happen overnight. This is a long, steady journey. And that long, steady journey of consistently showing up, getting help when you need it. Hopefully, if this starts making, more money, I'll be able to bring in other people and have other people into the story. It should be really fun, right? I'm looking for that. But it's tough, right? Whereas I have nothing. It doesn't, it's not generating that much income. And so I have to it's just showing up and just having these conversations and trying and pushing. And then, it's something that comes together. So the way I look at this, right? I can go and spend some money on a Porsche or something like that, as an old person does, right? I'm not old yet, but, that's what people do often when they become, make it. But instead of that, I'm building this thing so then you can all benefit from this. And we can see this story. It's like a grown-up Lego story. I used to play with Legos all the time. And it's really about showing up and doing those things and spending the hours where you actually build something that matters. And hopefully you'll all see that's what it is. Okay, so I'm done. I just wanted to say, if you really want to do anything that's important, you just got to show up. Nobody's going to be there. There might be one or two people there. And people that get it, they'll be there. But everybody else, they're not going to be there. And so you just got to show up every day, no matter what. It's not about the beauty that you have or whatever. It's just showing up consistently every single stinking day, no matter what. And lots of days you don't want to be there. But that is okay. That's part of the process. It's that grind that matters. Keep going, get up, get going, and do your thing. All right, bye.